Oh, what about Aeon Flux? Is that in there?
Aeon Flux.
Do you remember Aeon Flux?
No, I don't.
You know Charlize Theron? She's like that. She's got the black like emo fringe.
No,
Aeon Flux.
Oh, God, yeah.
Yeah?
No wonder it didn't work.
Yeah.
Like, nobody can read. Do you want to go and see Aeon Flux?
Do you want to see Johan Griffith? No, it's not Johan Griffith. It's Johan Flux.
We continue the run of having director/actor
On the
come
show.
up and on the show.
Yeah, the first time in Pulp Kitchen history, you've had 3 weeks now of a director or actor or talent, insert talent.
We're
on
a
the
big
show.
deal, George.
Hey,
We're a big deal. I mean, look,
guys.
they're not like literally in the studio. It's not like they came over.
No.
And we offered them a coffee, and Matt Smith and Darren Aronofsky were like, "Oh, it's so great to see you." And
So
their
good to
team
see
came
you, mate.
in.
Oh, yeah.
No, of course it's a junket setting, but even top radio, George. The BBC.
We're all in
and
the same
and
press
this
room.
morning, they're all using that same setup, and then they take the footage and use it. But Pulp Kitchen is a major outlet.
Oh, major.
I would always hope that we'd consider this success when people are concerned about our level of influence and control.
As in,
As in, like, people in a way that they
See, as a
regard
as a threat.
Rupert Murdoch having too much
Oh.
control and influence over news. I hope people will be like, God, that's worrying how much sway Pulp Kitchen have over the film and entertainment landscape. Like, if they haven't seen it, did anyone see it? Like politically, it's like, oh, well, the Sun has gone with politician
I
X.
see. Yes. What a Pulp Kitchen
is-
running
yeah,
with.
well, Pulp Kitchen are really going with sci-fi at the moment,
think
so
this-
we should commission sci-fi.
The studio heads are going, they've got their reviews in, but tell me, shakes, takes the glasses off.
Yeah.
What did Pulp Kitchen say? And they're all looking nervous.
Are they looking-
Sir, they did not like Superman.
What? Yeah. Anyone who isn't James Gunn, David Corenswet, or Rachel Brosnahan, leave now.
Yeah, we've got Matt Smith and Darren Aronofsky on the show today. Last week we had Chiwetel Ejiofor, and the week before that we had Celine Song. We've also had this year, we've had Will Poulter, we've had Danny Boyle and Alex Garland. Yeah. We've had the entire cast of September 5.
Yes, yeah, we did.
Mission Impossible as well we did. Some of those weren't inserted onto the show.
some of those weren't inserted,
but some of them were.
Yeah.
And that's what matters.
With Matt Smith will be on the title of this episode, and Darren Aronofsky. Yeah.
I know. I mean, that's cool.
Yeah.
Darren Aronofsky's like, that's a director.
Yes.
That's a director I know. That's what I learned at film school.
Matt Smith, and you'll hear in the interview, just lovely, chilled out, relaxed, but he's very sure of himself, and he really sort of answers the question directly to you.
In the nicest way, he's like a nice geezer.
Yeah.
You know, he's a
Yeah,
geezer,
yeah,
but he's not a geezer. He's like,
Yeah.
hello, mate. Yeah,
Hello.
hello.
Yeah.
He's
Well
sort of
done.
friendly.
Well done.
Well bloody
Well
done.
bloody done.
Good and everything, basically. And I'm glad we had the opportunity. Well, actually, we had to do a split. We had to do a split.
We
this
had
week.
to split. We tried to do things.
We were
many things
double
together.
booked for junkets this
We
week.
tried to move it to like make both opportunities available, but
So James went and did Caught Stealing, which you'll hear today and which we'll be reviewing. But I had to go and do. I look forward to it. I went to do The Paper, which is the Office spin-off, and I had the pleasure of speaking to Donald Gleason and Oscar Nunez and Sabrina Impecatore. And clips from that will be coming out on socials this week. Maybe even more so. I haven't got my junket footage yet. I have a feeling some of it I might have to share in like a big lump, like 8-minute slot because it's just uncuttable. And hopefully at some point this week I'll be dropping a review of The Paper, trying to catch up the early episodes I've been given. So we'll do that. If you haven't also caught up with our review of The Thursday Murder Club and Eddington, which we did in between this episode and last week's episode, go and do that
and check
because
that
those
out.
films are out.
they
are out.
Not
Those films are
favourable
out.
to those. They are out to be consumed.
Yes, that's what we will say. But this week, as mentioned, we'll be talking about Caught Stealing, the new movie from Darren Aronofsky.
A stamp font.
Look, I don't want to. Before we even get to the film,
Like
I just
a
want to say
spray thing.
I hate the poster.
Right,
I think it's one of the worst film posters we've had this year. I don't want to. No disrespect to the poster designer. I'm sure it was a death by 1,000 edits situation.
So it's a floating head poster with Austin Butler prominently sort of glaring off the top.
It looks like a Borderlands movie, a video game cover art.
It actually reminds me of the Tony Hawk's Underground 2 poster.
Yes,
Which
exactly
is a
that.
really good shout.
That
Which
is,
again was
yeah.
like
Pro Skater 2, right?
no. I'm going to go with Underground 2.
Is that different?
Like, can't you see that font?
It's exactly the same. It's exactly the same.
Which
Now-
I guess is kind of evoking noughties, 90s. This is more noughties, but
I just think it looks really throwback. I think the problem when you have an ensemble cast like this movie does is like, how do you cram all those people onto the poster?
That's the thing. Like Matt Smith might go, I'm going to be on it, and you got to get his funky hair
Contractually,
in.
they have to be in it. And you'd want them to be in it.
Yeah.
But it's not a great poster. But anyway, we'll get on to talk about that film, and then we'll read through some emails. Lots of emails, always lots of emails.
Always lots of
Some
emails.
some say we have the best emails.
Lots of
a lot of people
emails,
are saying we
a
have
lot
the
of
best.
people have been emailing. We're going to do the emails. It's going to happen so
and
fast.
There we go. We have to keep
It's
a limit
really
on the
addictive.
amount of Trump.
It's
we do,
really
because
addictive. I've
it's-
actually been in a good place where I've not been doing it alone around the
you're
house.
like a Trump impression addict.
I'm worse when I'm alone because I'll just be going about doing things.
Yeah. And I'm like, I don't know how that's going to age. Probably badly. So let's
Terribly.
limit it to
Yeah.
10 seconds per
10
episode.
seconds.
Okay.
I'll be looking at milk and I'll be like, it's whole milk. Not like semi. Semi's got a little less protein, but higher fat.
I like to say we're looking into it because that's just. And I'll
We're
do that, but
looking
we don't
into
know.
it.
We're looking into
About 2 weeks, we're looking into it.
And
it's
there
done.
we go.
He
That's
gets
enough. You will.
enough.
I can.
We got so many more years of
relax.
him. We got so many more years of him.
Let's just move on. Let's just move on. We don't need to think about that anymore. This is not why the listeners come to the show. They want to escape geopolitics.
Why they do come, or what they would come for, is Pulp Kitchen 200.
Hey.
Guys, tickets are still on sale for Pulp Kitchen 200. We cannot wait. Maybe there'll be some impressions on the night. We cannot wait to
for
celebrate
sure, for certain.
200
You could even
episodes with all
request
of you.
some.
We are on at the West End, as we like to remind
Yeah.
ourselves, which is quite daunting, but also
Cameron
really fun.
McIntosh right now is going, yes, but what are the other shows playing tonight?
Yes.
What is playing at the Leicester Square Theatre?
They're playing live?
Pulp Kitchen 200. Oh my goodness.
We're very much looking forward to hosting you at the Leicester Square Theatre on
Yes.
Wednesday, the 8th of October. Make sure you get your tickets. We'd love to see as many of you there as possible. And thank you to everyone who has bought your tickets, all
Yes.
the patrons that showed up to get their tickets, and all of you guys. We're so excited to see all of you there and to just celebrate. We were filming some very fun stuff. To celebrate Pulp Kitchen 200 the other day.
Yeah, yes.
And we've got lots of like fun little nuggets and surprises and
Yeah.
old little callbacks.
Yes, some goofy treats.
So we'd love to see as many of you there as possible on the day.
So if you haven't got your tickets yet, get them now.
And speaking of Patreon, head over to our Patreon and you can listen to our exclusive news show, Double Take. If you love what we do here and you want to just hear a little bit more from us, but in a more sort of like news, box office, analytical streaming stuff. We've got a great email actually asking us about like big tech and streaming services effect on cinema. And it's very much a Double Take conversation. We will answer it, but it's like, it's like Double Take conversation. If you want us to be talking about that, that's the best way to support us. Head over to the Patreon at the Siren tier. Get this show ad-free, get Double Take, get VIP access to emails. Be a producer.
Hey,
Like Finn and Dave.
thank you.
We salute you.
Anyway, on with the show. So, Caught Stealing, new movie from Darren Aronofsky. Darrenovsky, as I think he should be referred to.
The apostrophe Oski.
Director of Requiem for a Dream, Black Swan, Noah, The Fountain, The Whale, Mother, and The Wrestler, and many other films besides. A very...
I was gonna say, like he
Eclectic
don't try and
mix.
put him in a box.
I think he's a bit like a Danny Boyle in that respect.
Oh yeah, I see what you mean.
You know, like-
only he knows what his next film is gonna be about.
Sometimes you get a Danny Boyle movie, capital
Yeah.
D, capital B, and sometimes you get a Danny Boyle movie. You know what I mean? Like
and
yesterday.
and it's not just like the mixing of genres per se. I'd say it's just like style and tone, which is mixed up. Like Nolan mixes genres, but actually his style and tone, you could say, are
Well,
quite consistent.
Actually, I would say, looking at shooting from the hip, looking at Aronofsky's films, you could broadly say they are, grim. They're varied in genre, very genre.
Yeah.
But I was actually just thinking, like, quite similar in grimness. There's an element on grime, and a slight element of grotesqueness. The horror dial. They're not horror movies, but like you have the horrible extreme tension and like horror of Requiem for a Dream, and like the like body horror stuff, Black Swan, into like the decay of The Whale and The Wrestler, kind of, and that's kind of around, and that's sort of floating around
It's
a
sort
little
of
bit
soft
in
imprint.
Caught
It's almost like
Stealing.
if you showed all of his films to someone who didn't know, I don't think they would be like, oh, this is all from the same filmmaker.
Yes.
Whereas I think with other filmmakers, even then, again, who mix genres, you'd be like, oh, I can see this is one mind's work.
Yes. And as we said at the top of the show, James had the opportunity to speak to Darren Aronofsky and a star, well, one of the many stars in Caught Stealing, Matt Smith. He's joined by, Austin Butler leads this movie, and I will give a summary of the plot, don't worry. Austin Butler is the main star of this film, but he's joined by Zoe Kravitz, Matt Smith, Regina King, Bad Bunny, Griffin Dunn, Liev Schreiber, Vincent D'Onofrio. Am I missing anyone? Not really.
Action Bronson.
Action Bronson as well. A Galaxy of Stars. So Caught Stealing is based on the novel by Charlie Huston, and apparently Darren Aronofsky had actually been trying to make this for many years. It is set in 1998, and we follow Austin Butler, who is a barman, but former baseball protege, yeah. Well, no,
Promising young
prodigy.
That was it.
A former baseball prodigy. A former baseball prodigy who, for reasons that become clear later in the film, did not end up pursuing baseball, but now is working at a bar in New York City in 1998.
Tonic the Cat also stars.
Wonderful
yes,
feline performance. Yes, well, exactly. Yeah. So he is having a great time, Austin Butler, just sort of bumming around in New York. He's got a girlfriend in Zoe Kravitz, who's a paramedic, and they have a nice relationship. And it all takes place basically over like a 48-hour period, where Austin Butler seems to have the worst time of his life. So it begins with him bumping into Matt Smith in the corridor, who is his neighbor. Matt Smith is a punk of the highest variety,
all the way up to 11.
Yeah, Mohican Mohawk, a studded, a studded, bejeweled leather jacket. I've got to go back to London. Don't you understand? I've got to get out of
the
here.
docks that lace up halfway up the calf.
Yeah, he looks like he was rolled down Camden High Street about 4 different times. And he says, "Look, I've got to go back to London. My dad's ill. Can you look after my cat?" And Austin Butler says, "Okay, fine." He takes the cat in. The next morning, the cat's meowing around. Obviously, the cat's hungry, so he goes, "Oh, yeah, I need to feed you." So he opens the door, goes across the hall to go into Matt Smith's apartment. And before he gets in the door, he turns around, and who has turned up but 2 big heavies looking for Matt Smith. They have a bit of an altercation, and they end up beating up Austin Butler and setting forth a chain of events that suck Austin Butler unwittingly into this seedy underworld of New York City that goes from Chinatown to Flushing to Coney Island. You've got hitmen, Hasidic Jews, you've got Puerto Ricans, you've got cops, you've got kind of all the melange of a crime thriller, New York crime thriller that you'd expect stirred in there, and a very cute cat as well. So James had the opportunity to speak to Darren Aronofsky and Matt Smith, and here is our chat with them now.
Hi guys, how you doing? I'm James. Really great to meet you. Congratulations on the film.
Thank you.
Thank you. This film has such a great sense of setting and location in the late 1990s, and it always blows my mind when I think about the fact that in terms of time, the 90s is to the 2020s what the 60s was to the 90s at that time. So I wanted to ask you, I still don't think of the 90s as being 30 years ago, but it is. What are some of the most definitive features of the 1990s that mean the most to you guys?
Well, I think I like to call New York City in the 90s peak humanity because, Y2K was the biggest threat.
Yeah.
And the Soviet Union had collapsed, and our president was under investigation for an extramarital affair. That was the kind of controversy and the stress we had in the world. Yeah. Grunge had peaked but was still going strong, and hip-hop was going international. Electronic music was just starting. Britney Spears was penning her first few tracks. Yeah, it was like an amazing music time. MDMA was legal. Yeah. Legal. Nah, it was kind of legal-ish.
Was it?
Yeah, pretty much. But it was definitely on the flow. It was just a great time to be alive. There was a lot of excitement about the new millennium that was coming and like what was going to be possible. And I think there's a lot of FOMO for it. So it was like, that's why setting in the 90s would be interesting, because I think young people who didn't get to experience are like, what? Hold on, that was going on? I kind of the way I felt about the 60s, because I had that kind of spread from that too. Yeah. It was always like, it would have been great to be a hippie and at Woodstock. And I guess there's sort of a similar kind of flashback now for the 90s.
Yeah.
I think in England, and personally, I was like...
What year are you born?
82. So like in 95, I was like, what, 12, 13? Like, 95, 96, like What's the Story, Morning Glory came out, and that fucking blew my mind. And then England nearly got to the final of the Euros in 96, and the country came together. And like New Labour and Blair, there was that like things can only get better, that D-Ream soundtrack, and there was a sort of aspirational nature to Britain. And I remember even feeling that as a young person. And then, but I still caught the 90s. And again, musically, also there was a type of film that I loved. I loved that like erotic thriller that we never make anymore. Why don't we make Indecent Proposal and Slither and I loved those films. Unfaithful, there was just yeah, I don't know. I feel a great sense of ownership over it. Yeah. And fashion, I was like, come on, man.
Yeah.
It was just a vibe, wasn't it?
Speaking of fashion, Matt, I think your career is blessed with great costumes. From the Time Lords.
There's no accounting for taste, you see.
yeah. From Doctor Who, House of the Targaryen, Prince Philip even.
Yeah. When
you guys got together to do this, was the conversation always to go full punk here? Or did it start at a place and then sort of get more and more?
He was very, very in the readings that I did. Darren was very, very clear. He was like, "Look, man, this is it.
Go for
you're
it.
bald, you're a punk. There's no in between." And I was like,
Did you get inspired at all? You're like, you know what, this actually looks quite. I think I
loved
like
it, mate.
Yeah,
I loved it. It was because it's such a deliberate style, and they are, stylish. But it's an interesting movement, isn't it? Because actually, I feel it. What draws you to being? What brings you to being a punk? Often it's about being ostracized. Is it?
I think somewhat.
Yeah.
That's definitely a story that you would see is like, especially at that age, still holding on to that dream.
Yeah.
Means definitely probably there was a little damage back in the day.
Yeah.
But
then,
we did talk to a few punks about that and did some research into like what might be the backstory.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I live really near Camden, and you can still see relics of
I know.
the punks sitting on the
Bring it
bridge.
back.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Are there any Mohawks still around?
You'll see like one or two, but it's almost like it's an echo of a time long gone, I'd say now.
It's a shame, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because it's such a statement.
Yes.
It's great. Yeah.
So I love the world building around Liev Schreiber and Vincent D'Onofrio's characters, and I loved that Canadian soup got its cinematic moment. I want to ask, does that soup have a special place in your heart?
Not deeply, but it definitely was nice last night at the screening when it got a great laugh.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay. Matzo ball soup is like a universal, statement, but.
Even
I think
gangsters have
for
to go
me,
home
it's the
and
black
say-
and white cookie that is like significant.
Yes.
That's like, have you seen? There's a new poster actually.
Really?
I got to show you after this. But to me, like, it's funny because like people are reading into the black and white cookie because like, oh, it was like morality, black and white and gray, and who's good and bad, which has nothing, is further from the truth than anything. Really, I just love black and white cookies. I grew up on them. And when Charlie was writing that scene, I was like, oh, how about we do a scene about the black and white cookie? And it was a much bigger scene about the black and white cookie, but it's still kind of this very significant plot moment.
It's great.
Anyway, so that's where my heart is.
And there's an amazing feline performance in this film. I hold it up there with the cat from Inside Llewyn Davis,
Yeah.
Breakfast at Tiffany's.
Okay.
What's it like working with a cat? As a director, how do you get the best performance out of your cat?
I mean, it's all about casting, and Tonic was so far beyond any of the other candidates, and was just a great creature.
Anywhere with the best. That's all I have time for, guys.
Thank you.
Just-
They were cool, weren't they?
Lovely guys.
Yeah, they
Really
were cool.
lovely, yeah.
I like Darren Aronofsky. Darren Aronofsky is
Cool. I think he's
Cool in the
a
original
cool,
sense of the word.
creative. And actually, I think before I knew what Darren Aronofsky looked like, this is like a few years ago, I think I had a different mind's eye version of what he actually looks like. There's no comment on how he looks. But I'm always like, yeah, you're just sort of like a sort of American creative sort of guy.
almost. He looks a bit like Steve Jobs' brother.
Oh yeah, see that?
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do
If
see
he,
that.
if he just did that,
Yeah,
touched
a little
his
bit of a-
chin, he would be
They could
eligible
do
for
a
the
Paul
role.
Walker's brother on him for a biopic maybe, and just sort of fit the face over.
Okay, so Caught Stealing. I'll go first. Like I said, summarize the plot before the interview. But on the whole, I think it's pretty solid stuff, if a little bit unremarkable. Aronofsky, as we talked about, is a really great filmmaker. Has made some really interesting films. I really like Requiem for a Dream. I really like Black Swan. I really like The Wrestler. I haven't seen Noah. Mother was an interesting stab that kind of fell apart, but it was like, what a journey.
Was it that interesting of a stab?
Oh, exactly, which is that I enjoyed The Whale. I found it really emotional, but I do understand people's reservations with it, and it was quite restrained. And I think one thing I felt refreshing, was happy for, is that Aronofsky is back in the real world, walking the streets and roaming around in New York City, which he has visited many, many times. Requiem for a Dream is very gritty and grounded in the specific part of New York it's set in. Black Swan as well, walking around, the subway with Natalie Portman. So set in 1998 and based off this novel. I feel like it was almost set in 1998 probably just because it helps people not having smartphones.
Totally.
I literally thought that's the only reason this is set in 1998. But followed with a great soundtrack of late 90s music. And the good thing to say is that Aronofsky is a good filmmaker, and there are so many times in this film I thought, he's completely competent and confident, and there are sweeping crane shots, and there are interesting cuts, and he knows how to shoot a movie, and he knows how to make a film work, and that's absolutely fine. I think he captures the griminess of New York City, but he also captures a kind of sexiness, not just between the kind of chemistry between Austin Butler and Zoe Kravitz, but also the kind of the dirty allure of the underground life, and the kind of it kind of typified in the bar that he works in. It's kind of seedy and dirty. There's something kind of alluring about it. The thing is with this film is that the story is a little familiar. I feel like we've trodden this ground before, and yes, it's got a late 90s setting, but it also feels like a script that was fallen down the back of a sofa in the 90s, and it feels a little bit of a Soderbergh, Coen Brothers, Tarantino roll up.
Exactly my point of it's been trying to be made for 20 years. I feel like it was made 20 plus years ago, and nobody's really kind of evolved it and sort of like, I don't know, made it more relevant to a 2025 audience. Sorry,
I agree. I think there's it's just missing that signature thing that makes it different from the pack, and so it feels like a very late addition to that canon of movies. That's not to say, like I said, it's not badly made at all, but you kind of, if you've watched a lot of movies, we've all kind of trodden this ground before someone unwittingly gets sucked into the underground, and then the underworld, and then needs to know how to get themselves out of it. I think the film takes a while to kind of find itself, and it has this tone which it's darker than I think we expected, and it makes some really bold, dark choices, which is refreshing. But I think
very violent, actually.
Yeah, actually, surprisingly violent. And I think that there are times when I think the film looks and sounds like it's going to be a bit lighter and a bit more comedic, a bit more Guy Ritchie kind of Tarantino light, but actually it is actually a bit more grungy and gritty. I think it gets better as it goes on. I like the bolder choices that it makes. Austin Butler is fine and solid in the lead role. I actually think as an actor, the more I look at him, I really think that what I want to see from him is a more nastiness. Actually, we talked about how great he was in Dune Part 2. There's something about his persona, and we caught a glimpse of it in Eddington, even though he's really not in that film much at all. And I thought, there's something about your energy that I think works really well with darkness, and I think it kind of liberates him from being stuck in the stiff leading man role. And that, it's not to say he's bad in this at all. I think he does a good job, but I think, I don't know if you found him a little bit like kind of strained by being in the leading role.
Are you preferring him as a supporting character, interesting supporting than main?
I think,
obviously he was great in Elvis, but that was like such an escape role for him, right? But then seeing him be really nasty in June was very compelling. He did a great job,
and he was nasty in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood,
and nasty in Once Upon a Time.
And I just think there's something about him that really suits that.
He's more elusive and alluring as the less you see of him. Maybe
when he's trying to play it cool and be kind of.
I did believe him in this. But again,
I'm probably coming off too negative.
No. I see what you mean. It's almost like it felt like a role that was slightly out of time.
Yes.
And the film for me feels like it's slightly out of time.
Yeah.
And so his place within it, I think he's doing very good work as the leading guy that was actually quite likable but flawed. But it's like, what's the other element here?
Yes. So he's fine. So I think what it is more that I believe in Austin Butler. I believe Austin Butler is a really good actor. But my point is I want to see him like really grow and develop. Like, yes, he was great in Elvis and he was great in Dune Part 2. And I want to see him like capture those heights again, and I think he's kind of fine in this. He's good in this, but I want to see, and it's kind of my summary of the film. I wanted this film to be kind of much better.
Right,
the rest of the cast is great. Matt Smith is probably the most fun in this. I mean, it is an ensemble film, and all these other characters kind of weave in and out, so you get a little bit here, a little bit there. But Matt Smith, when he's in it, is great fun. I really enjoyed it. Just kind of chewing the scenery as this punk, but I really enjoyed his presence in this. Everyone else is doing perfectly fine. I like this Vincent D'Onofrio, Liev Schreiber kind of duo.
A duo.
Literally puts the Jew in duo. Yeah. Look, it's kind of funny, kind of serious. It's a solid watch. Terrible poster, But I think it's actually perfectly solid.
So when we went to go and see it, you and I had an interesting conversation because it was mid-August and it was Caught Stealing. We were like, what is this mid-budget film right now in this landscape? It's not that we were like prejudging it, but we were almost wondering like, where does this sit amongst everything else? It's got two really big, hot right now young actors in Zoe Kravitz and Austin Butler, and they've got this like steamy sex scene, which is like, oh, okay, well, while you've got them, you might as well have them do that. We're also like, what is this film? Is it weird that it's coming out this way? Are we over-analyzing it? And then when I went to go and see it, I think the thing that really stood out to me in the note I made was it's lacking in definition in terms of like how I define it to you or where it sits right now. And the whole comment about, yes, it's an older script from 20, 30 years ago, but it really feels like that to me. Like it hasn't been iterated upon. It has sort of sat in a drawer and it's now been made, but why has it been made now? And I think that's an awkward place for the film to sit, but it doesn't mean I had a bad time with it. I liked again like the playfulness of it. It runs around the city. It's got this like come with me on my worst long day ever type feel of it. And when it all sort of comes to a close, it's like a sigh of relief that now it's done. And then the playful gangster stuff is very familiar, but I've nonetheless enjoy some of the parts of that. I've seen things like, even just in Anora very recently, the comedic contrasted with extreme violence. And although something could be quite playful and funny, there's also a real nasty side to it. This whole idea that you've got like good religious Jewish boys that are also committing like horrific acts of violence, but make it home in time to have Canela soup with their mom. Like there's something quite playful there. But I think on the whole, at the end of the year, you and I might go, do you remember that film Caught Stealing? And we might be like, oh God, I haven't thought about that in a while. And so there is a sort of a slight, what's the best word for it? Yeah, just like a lack of definition where it sits for me.
It's almost slightly mediocre, which I hate to say. And I think but it is surprising for a movie from Darren Aronofsky. I think we expected it to have much. A Darren Aronofsky movie has always had very distinct definition.
Yes,
you were just like, wow, that's an interesting movie. And Caught Stealing is kind of a little bit shapeless. It feels like a B-side. And
when you add with your comments about the poster, has that always been the writing on the wall in a way? So it's not a bad time.
No,
I
not
think
a bad
you went
time.
to go and see it. I think it would do really well. We were actually speaking to a friend of ours, a friend of the show, Fred Asquith. And he made this, we just messaged on WhatsApp and he was like, oh, what do you think? And we sort of sent our broad thoughts. And he said it's going to do really well on streaming. And I kind of think maybe people will start it, but I don't think many people will finish it at home. I think outside of the obligation of I've gone to the cinema and I'm now here in this room to watch it. And I'm sure this is a problem with a lot of streaming films, but I imagine people getting enticed by the first half an hour, but ever so slightly falling off, and then someone comes in and says dinner's ready.
Yeah, because to the film's credit, it takes time to establish an emotional backstory and stakes, and it doesn't rush into the action because it's not trying to be frenetic. It's trying to, you can tell it's based off a novel. It's trying to give sort of substance to it, but yeah, I see what you mean there.
Brilliant cat performance. I said in the chat, I think it's up there with some of the best cats I've seen. At the Pulp Kitchen Awards, top feline performance. It's a strong contender.
And some good giggles in there with like sort of the madness of it. But I agree, it feels
fumbling, sort of like Home Alone style, wet bandit stuff a little bit in there.
Sticky bandits.
Sticky bandits, yeah.
I don't know what you've been watching, James.
Wet bandits.
It's let us know what you think, but I think it's perfectly kind of solid.
As always, guys, if you want to send in your thoughts, your questions, your concerns, your reviews, you can of course send them in to hello@popkitchenpodcast.com, or you can support us at the VIP tier on Patreon and have priority access to have your email read out on the show, just like friend of the show and VIP himself. I'm really trying to stall so you can find his email. Harry writes in.
Friend of the show, VIP. And as James just said, you can get your email read out.
I really sort of elongated that for you.
Yes.
If we were live on the radio, I'd have to really sort of like sense the...
I'd be screaming, you'd be throwing stuff at me. Yes, Harry has written into the show. VIP has written and says, Caught Stealing, a big yes. Harry here. Hello, lads. Harry here. Your man on the front line, because Harry works in a cinema. Of course. And he is our man on the front line. I shall be your correspondent for today's episode.
Thank you.
Destination, Caught Stealing. I was lucky enough to attend an early screening, a lovely gala event, which I hope is the first of many for myself.
We got invited, but we can go.
Yes, because we'd already seen the movie.
Yeah, we'd already
to
seen
do the
it, to do the
junket.
junket.
Guys, we're just a bit embarrassment of riches.
Yeah, sorry.
I had never seen an Aronofsky film until recently. Before Caught Stealing, I set myself the task of watching 5 others of his. Not Requiem for a Dream, though. I've heard too many things. I like Requiem for a Dream.
You should see it.
I'm also, I don't know what this says about me, but like I could happily rewatch that all the time. I've seen it about 3-4 times.
I think it's a bit of a rite of passage film in a way.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think you should, in your sort of like teens, 20s, be served Requiem for a Dream. It's not going to be a nice time, but it's almost like it is good. It is good. I think I've done it. I think I've done it twice, and I'm more or less okay with it. You're quite happy to watch
I've seen it. Yeah, I think I've seen
okay with it as in like to rewatch again and again.
No, but I agree with you. Like I watched it when I was 17, and I was like, "Wow, this doesn't look like a right passage." Then it was on my film studies course at uni to study editing, and then I showed it to a friend of mine afterwards. And yeah, I've had a great time each time. Focusing on Caught Stealing though, for the time being, I thought this was bloody great. I had so much fun with the film. Recognizing the versatility of Aronofsky upon a retrospective look is mind blowing. He may be seen as controversial filmmaker at times, but most cinema goers and cinephiles alike can agree they enjoy at least one of his films. That's true. Important to note for listeners, this may be the first Aronofsky film that is truly turn your brain off fun. I say that. Yeah. Caught Stealing is something cinema just doesn't have anymore. I truly don't believe there are many, if any, action comedies like this around anymore. Although I haven't seen it, Bullet Train was the one that came to mind. Yeah, that's probably the closest comparison.
Yeah. Bullet Train's more fun and expressive.
This is Darren Aronofsky's Bullet Train. I do see it's like if you put the griminess and the groundedness on this film, on that film, I get it.
Bullet Train, I think, was more vibrant and zany and more silly than this. This like is a bit of a turn the dial down a bit on that. So I think again, I didn't mind it. I found it a bit like it went on a bit long, and it was evoking a lot of better films.
Yeah.
No, it was fine.
That's because you saw it at the cinema.
I
watched it at home.
Cinema, yeah.
There you go. Sorry, back on Caught Stealing. The star-studded cast is clearly having a great time. I personally wish there was more Matt Smith, but alas, it was great to see my Doctor in a film that is actually good. Terminator Genesis, Morbius. Also pleasantly surprised by a couple of random cameos. I love how cosmopolitan this film is, although not trying to be psychologically deep. Showcasing different cultures within New York City was quite lovely. The narrative is basic, but by no means bad. A domino effect that keeps going, leading Butler's Hank down a rabbit hole. I must say the way this film ends is bloody genius. No spoilers, but it's just such a fun, inventive way of climaxing a film that a lot of audiences will appreciate the gag. I'm slightly worried the film will simply disappear in a few weeks and will not properly be received by audiences. End of August release date doesn't bode well for distributors wanting the best for a film. I implore all sirens to check it out. If you're a cat lover, you must watch this film.
Sure.
Enough said. I'll leave you with this. I've read online that some people don't believe Austin Butler is a household name yet. I can't remember where you placed him on your tier list, but do you think do you think he is? Is he enough of a name right now, or is he on the way to becoming that? Elvis did wonders for him, but there hasn't been any other solo leading roles. Would his name draw people in here if it wasn't for Aronofsky? Even at a gala event, cinema etiquette seems to be truly dead, as a couple next to me would not stop talking, even after receiving multiple complaints from people located all around. But that's a story for another time. Looking around to hearing what you boys think of the film. Much love, Harry. P.S. I'm at a 3.4/4 debate at the moment for Letterboxd for this film.
Thank you, Harry. Yeah, I almost had to squint 40 minutes in. I was like, that's Vincent D'Onofrio and Liev Schreiber, because they were so lost in all of just like the hair and I guess just the beard and everything they had going on.
But Harry touches on what we've just talked about with Austin Butler, which is like, is he a household name?
Was he sort of on the edge of coming in and out of 1 and 2?
He was at the bottom of tier 1.
Go and check out our recent episode about the hottest young actors working today, where we I think really usefully for us, codify what young actors are the hottest in terms of career, and sort of like we have band 1, band 2, band 3, and sort of onwards.
I think he was. We said he was at the bottom of band 1. I believe he can be great, but I think also maybe he is also finding himself, because Elvis launched him as a leading man. But you're right, maybe he's better as an interesting character actor, or in smaller movies. He's good in this. Like, this is a smaller movie.
I flicked on his IMDb the other day. He's got 8 upcoming projects.
Yeah, good. So
including Caught Stealing. Call it 7. But like, so he's got plenty to come out, working with great directors and big talent. He's rumored for Heat 2.
Oh, well, isn't everyone?
Isn't everyone? Yeah,
him, true. Leo, and was he going to play the young Val Kilmer? Is he? I don't know.
Oh, he does. He look a bit like Val Kilmer.
Val Kilmer vibes.
Whoa! I told you, just been hit with like facial deja vu for Val Kilmer.
He is a young Val Kilmer. He hasn't got Val Kilmer had a much deeper.
Is it cheekbones?
I think it's a slightly pouty mouth. And the blonde hair. But Val Kilmer had a better voice. He had a more softer, soothing, deeper timbre.
They have similar cheekbones.
Yeah.
I think.
But same kettle of fish.
Yeah. Conspiracy there.
Anyway. That was Caught Stealing. And if like Harry, you've seen the movie, send in your thoughts to hello@pulpkitchenpodcast.com.
George, should we go through some of the emails that we get sent into the show every week?
Please do.
As always, guys, if you want to send your thoughts, questions, your concerns, your reviews, you can, of course, send them into
hello@pulpkitchen.com.
Just like Anders does. Anders writes in with Eddington and George's shirt. Hello, George and James. A quick note from me minutes after seeing Eddington. The only thing I enjoyed was not enjoying it. Polarizing films are important. If it's all politically correct, qualified, and exactly what we want and expect, then movies would be dead. However, a film about things we'd like to forget, political issues with little context, no characters to root for, and a whole lot of mess was not enjoyable or thought-provoking in the right way, at least to me. Yeah, that kind of sums up my problems with all the things it brings up, but doesn't address. I think I just said it has a nonchalant approach to all of the issues it raises, which I don't think is enough.
Go check out our Eddington review that came out in between this week's episode and last.
Also, I listened to and watched, hi if you're watching for the visuals, your episode on Blink Twice. Interesting to follow what Zoe Kravitz does. Looking forward to Caught Stealing.
There you go.
3 out of 5 stars from me, but that's not the point. What got 5 out of 5 stars from me was George's Royal Blue Stanley Kubrick shirt. We need a rewatch of that one. Anders in Norway.
Thank you.
Friend of the show,
I do
Anders.
believe I wore that a few weeks ago in the... I want to say the
quiz,
Bring
did
Her
you?
Back episode. I watched the quiz last year as well.
Stanley Kubrick.
Anders might not have been there though because he's in
No,
Norway.
I know. But you've been photographed in it.
Oh yeah. It's part of my
Rotation.
rotation. Yeah. A lovely thing that is. We didn't talk about Zoe Kravitz enough really in Caught Stealing, other than she's also good in it.
She's also good in it. I think there was a part of like the first bit which is very steamy and sexy, which I didn't have a problem with, but I was almost like, maybe this is slightly abandoned as a relationship dynamic. Therefore, how relevant is the steamy sexiness apart from you've got very steamy, sexy people, let's have them take their clothes off and kiss each other.
I just
Sometimes I'm a bit like, okay,
yeah.
I'm entertained.
I thought it was kind of like
It's a bit HBO, Game of Thrones, Sunday night tea at telly. While we're here, let's just steam up everyone.
you thought it was superfluous.
Only as I came to the end of the film, looking back, I go, why is that the sexiness in that relationship
I think that's
so important?
Yeah, I can't talk about it without talking about the rest of the film. But I think it's important to ground that relationship.
You perv. I think it's.
I think we should keep it in. Actually, I think actually should be longer.
If it's not going to be in, can I just have? I'll take it home.
Yeah.
If no one's using it.
Moving on from James's schoolboy humour to this email from Rob, who writes in and says, "Hi, George and James and George. Greetings from Sydney, Australia. Long-time listener, first-time emailer, big fan of the pod.
Hello from Australia. Every week they come in.
I'm really proud of the Aussies for handing. You know
Yeah.
what it is? I think right now it's winter over there. I've got friends in Australia. I saw some
Yeah.
photos the other day. Scarves, jackets. I'm like,
Can't even,
it's we're here. Well, it looks like it's about to
Yeah.
rain, but over the last few months, some friends and I have been having double feature movie nights, which we call where we watch a serious / highbrow film and then something a bit less serious / lowbrow.
Nice.
Fully acknowledging how reductive those labels can be,
No, that's
but.
useful.
We also aim to pair the films together along some kind of idea. For instance, Jaws and Sharknado offer two very different takes on a shark-themed crisis scenario, both entertaining in their own ways. Other highlights include Ex Machina and Robots. Wow, do you remember Robots?
Yeah.
Wow.
Robin Williams.
And Mel Brooks.
And Ewan McGregor?
I think he is the main guy in it, yeah. First Cow and Barnyard, or my personal favourite, The Last Temptation of Christ and The Life of Brian.
Nice.
I know that you guys have coupled other features on your podcast before, but I was thinking this framework might put a fresh spin on the discussion. So do you have any highbrow, lowbrow, double feature suggestions?
Sort of yin-yang of double feature.
Forgive me if something like this has come up before. Super pleased to see how much the pod has grown over the years. Keep up the great work. Cheers, Rob.
Thank you.
I've got one.
Go on.
I don't know if I mentioned this on the show before because it wasn't originally mine. It was something somebody told me years ago and it's always stayed with me. But a good highbrow, lowbrow one is Lost in Translation with Fast and Furious 3 Tokyo Drift.
Oh, sure.
Both about cultural alienation of a Westerner in Japan.
Yep.
So do with that what you will, but that works.
Yeah, sure. There's lots of great little ones there. Yeah.
I would watch that.
Yeah.
I know what you're saying that, the labels are arbitrary, but it's nice to kind of zhuzh it up a little bit.
Yeah. No, I agree. I can't think of any off the top of my head, but it's fun to do that. Loosely related This next one is from Aaron, who writes in and says, question, influenced by reviews? Hi guys, love the show. Been listening for about a year and find your point of view interesting and love listening. My question is, how much do you think you, consciously and subconsciously, let other people's opinions and critics' reviews sway your opinion of a film or the desire to watch a film? The reason I ask is because some of my favourite films have low reviews, or I know a lot of people don't like them. For example, I love Prometheus. I love the tone, the originality, and I think the score is incredible and gives such a memorable feel that keeps me coming back. But everything I hear about it is negative. It just makes me curious. Have you ever listened to someone or a bad review and skipped a movie only to watch it eventually and love it? And if so, what film? Keep up the good work. P.S. Here are my top 5 movies. Maybe I have terrible taste. You be the judge. At number...
Well, before we get that, should we just answer Aaron's question? I like to say that a key part of developing your own film taste is to not be swayed by critics, and you should move from a place where initially people think that you listen to review in order to decide whether to go and see something, but really it's you go see something and then you listen to the review as a part of discussion and an expansion of your point. And I will only really engage with reviews prior to seeing a film if I'm really on the fence about seeing it.
Right. Yeah.
But I would say that really it's more I use reviews in that respect as a discussion thing afterwards.
I agree with everything you said. I also think there's a factor in our line of work where I think you and I have, through some sort of strange supernatural osmosis, quite a good gauge for whether or not a film is looking promising. Even if people haven't seen it yet, I think there's a sort of buzz around the PR and marketing. How much access you get, how many events there are, how much talent are circling around. And obviously this is completely different for the scale and budget and the number of talent in the film. And then I think when people do start to see it, if you're not the first wave, I just do think if it had been good, we would know. And if it had been bad, we would know. And there's some sort of invisible temp check. I think I can kind of go, I've not heard much about that yet. Or it's a weird time for it. So while not a review per se, I do think that settles me into when I go and see it. And I think usually we're fairly correct with that. Like something, a big film like Gladiator 2, I think we could start to see, read the tea leaves for that. But then I think there are some things which are sort of looking really good.
Yeah. Do you know what a key indicator is actually? And it kind of
people talk.
Yeah, and kind of reference something that we talked about on Double Take last week, which is that I've spoken on this show many times about how I don't really watch trailers anymore, but I will usually watch the first trailer a movie puts out only once, right? Yeah. And I think that if a trailer shows too much and also not enough, that's a big red flag for me. So we spoke on Double Take last week about Daniel Day-Lewis's new film, Anemone. Yeah. And I said, well, that trailer actually shows... It purports to show a lot, but it actually shows very little, which I think for me means they don't know how to describe, they don't know how to market this film, they don't know how to tell it, which puts my red flags up a little bit. And then obviously if a trailer shows too much, I'm like, they're desperate for you to go and see it, so they're putting everything in the trailer.
Yes.
And so that can kind of upset me a little bit. I like film trailers when you can find one, a trailer that kind of walks that line, which still engages you but leaves enough mystery.
When there's too much third act stuff in there, and you're just stop showing me act 3.
Yeah. It's because you can't rely on us being pulled in by Act 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. So then,
I really think that's there, and it's embargo proof. It's I know people sign, and of course we do, but you just kind of, I guess, because people couldn't talk very off the record casually between people, but even still illegally, I guess. But yeah, sorry, that's what I just want to say. And then you go on to say, Aaron, here are my top 5 movies. Maybe I just have terrible taste. You be the judge. Number 5, Free Solo.
Great
Brilliant
movie.
documentary.
You've seen it?
Yeah.
Great movie.
Fantastic. And he, Alex Honnold, I've seen so many videos of him now. Not that film, but him doing free soloing, taking other people free soloing, and he's such an interesting communicator and has a really unique perspective about his whole lifestyle and his philosophy around climbing. It's quite controversial actually, because free solo in itself is a very dangerous and slightly selfish thing to do by some arguments, but nonetheless he's sort of unapologetic in how he is, and it makes a very interesting watch. Go and watch Free Solo if you haven't already.
This is where I would like to correct the fact that many weeks ago I said that climbing wasn't a sport. I want to correct that. It is a sport, and in Alex Honnold's case, it's an extreme sport. I've also said this before, but for me, one of the saddest scenes in a film I've ever seen is where he's made to buy a fridge by his girlfriend. His girlfriend basically just doesn't want him to climb. She can't accept that he climbs, and so in order to get him to as a compromise, he agrees to go appliance shopping with her. And they're looking at fridges, and you see his soul leave his body.
He lives in a camper van, and eats food out of it, and parks up by Yosemite and Yellowstone, and he just goes and climbs it. Number 4, Mallrats, which is a
Not
bit blind
seen,
spot of mine. I
no.
really need to see it. 3, Good Will Hunting.
Great movie.
Yeah, great movie. Number 2, Alien.
Great
I
movie.
mean, phenomenal. So good. And number 1, Interstellar. I'm here for it.
Yeah, we all love it, really.
It's aging like a fine wine.
Yeah. And I know some people are still a bit, I understand. I'm like, we've said this before. Let yourself go. Free yourself with Interstellar.
And I really do mean like a fine wine. You know, when you first open it and you need to actually let it breathe, you go, oh, it's a little bit sharp. We just need to let the tannins, the oxygen run through. Now it's been decanted and it's been sat on the table for 40 minutes, dare I say 2 hours. And it's just, now I sort of see the notes.
Yes.
What used to be unforgiving is now sort of actually rich and...
But but isn't there an element to that wine though that is slightly? You go, yeah, it is a bit because you go. There is still the third act.
There
with
is
the
still that.
Tesseract. You know, but
we will always use food metaphors for films.
long may my pizza metaphor be. I want that carved in stone somewhere. Yeah. Anyway, moving on to Christian, who writes in and
Thanks,
says,
Aaron.
What did you say? Hi, Sarah.
Thanks, Aaron. Thanks,
Aaron. Thought they went, hi, Sarah. I thought you just had like
Hi,
a blip.
Sarah.
Thanks, Aaron. This one's on to Christian.
She's
who
right
says,
behind you.
Podcast question. Films that you love that are vastly disliked. Hi, gents. Just properly started listening. Great podcast.
Properly.
Yeah.
You listening casually?
I think he was.
I guess I'll put an episode on. Now he's hooked.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I'd love to know which film you adore that's generally disliked or even loathed by others that you believe is misunderstood or had a surprising impact on you. For me, I have two of many examples. Batman Forever and Gemini Man.
Okay.
Batman, is that the Val Kilmer one? Yeah. Batman Forever tells such a compelling story about Batman trying to save Robin from repeating his own traumatic cycle, with Val Kilmer delivering one of his best performances at Batman. I love that movie. I watched that
I've
one.
not seen it since I was a kid.
A core kid movie. Played it over and over again.
Yeah,
I had one of my first and favorite toys I had was the Tommy Lee Jones Harvey Dent action figure.
Yeah.
Great stuff. Oh, fantastic. That would never be. Imagine how far have we come with the Batman character in cinema that like the idea of putting "Kiss from a Rose" by Seal. And then you go to something in the way, Batman.
But looking back at it, it was genius.
Of course.
It's perfect.
Then Christian says there's Gemini Man, which is the Will Smith Ang Lee movie,
I remember.
right? Which,
shot on at 48 frames, which really threw me.
Resonated deeply with me as it depicts a man fighting with, communicating with, and ultimately protecting his younger self from the pain he feels. I felt like this mirrored my own mental health journey. What are your 2 picks? Well, I just say for Gemini Man, just watch Looper. Much better movie.
Right, yeah. I the answer has usually been The Flash from 2023, but I am gonna go Swiss Army Man, which nobody talks about, and I do really like.
I think that's rated.
Yeah, but I don't. I think it is rated, but I don't hear many people being like, "Yeah, that's really good." People are like, "Oh, Swiss Army Man, okay," and I'm like, I rate it.
Yeah,
I really enjoyed it. It really took me by surprise. I did just sort of like let go and go with it. And I thought the ending in particular was very profound. So I recommend Swiss Army Man. If you like Everything Everywhere at Once, go check it out.
Trying to think of that movie. You know, what's a movie that people disliked or even loathed? And what's a movie that people loathe that I go, you know what? I'm going to stand up for that movie. And if it's not The Flash, which is we always use that as an example. Don't know. It'll come back to me.
This isn't a bad film, but I had a great conversation with someone about just like how great A Knight's Tale is.
Yeah, great movie.
And how I would have loved to have
been. It was Rihanna Dillon.
I was multiple people, and someone was like, I really wanted to be in the room where someone walked in and says, I have a rock and roll jousting movie for you, and they went, yes, it's perfect.
Yeah, this is your Film Bites with Rihanna Dillon. This is all people can watch this.
I've had the same conversations with people all the time.
Repeatable content. Yeah, it's a great movie. Yeah, great
so
movie.
Good. They were like, picture Jeffrey Chaucer naked.
When was the last time you watched?
Oh, long time, but it's so good. Friend of the show, Emily, writes in and says, hi lads, quick one. Following the release of the Eternity trailer, synopsis below if you have not seen it, who would you choose, Callum Turner or Miles Teller? The Discord was definitely more Callum Turner inclined, but there were a couple of Miles Teller loyalists. I feel like we know which way James will be leaning. Thanks. Synopsis, this is just a film where in an afterlife where souls have 1 week to decide where to spend eternity, Joan, played by Elizabeth Olsen, is faced with the impossible choice between the man she spent her life with, Miles Teller, and her first love, who died young and has waited decades for her to arrive, played by Callum Turner. I think that's a really smart premise for a film. Fun. It's a great elevator pitch that I look forward to seeing play out.
Emily, who is a very active member of the Discord,
yes,
and James, I assume you'll be going for Callum Turner.
I mean, he's my best mate,
yeah,
so
of course.
Yeah.
I think I would go for Miles Teller, just purely because I think
he's a great actor, Miles Teller.
I do think
is it purely on aesthetics or just like person?
I guess it's everything. I mean, I do think probably I would say for me, Miles Teller is more handsome than Callum Turner.
Right.
More to my taste, at
Right,
least.
yeah.
I would take Miles Teller.
Yeah.
And maybe it's because Miles Teller is American, he's a bit different.
Yeah.
Instead of another Brit.
Yeah.
But then Callum Turner is also like I could go to the pub with him.
I know that Callum Turner is engaged to Dua Lipa.
Here we go.
Is
Every
Miles,
week.
every week. And I'm not over it.
You're not over it. Yeah.
Who do we know who Miles Teller
Is married
betrothed?
to someone. This next email is from Maxwell, who writes in and says, I hate to rant, but, and does
Here's a
give
rant.
a sizable email. So here we go.
All right.
Hi, guys. Hope you're both well. I'm a new listener and loving it. Welcome. You guys have a vast knowledge of movies and, most importantly, a much wider, inclusive appreciation and understanding of film, which gives your reviews and opinions more credit, substance, and accessibility. So thank you for going on this venture and bringing us all incredible content. Thank you. So let the rant commence. Streaming services have robbed cinema, television, and all involved. Admittedly, I am part of the problem because I haven't watched TV for the last 6 years and I only stream, but it's because I have a special hatred for adverts. My problem with this is the fact they cancel shows way too often. Cinema and television, in my opinion, had a lot of emotional wonder to it. Risks were taken, ideas were tried, and sometimes gems were created. And of course, sometimes you get a warm turd. But nonetheless, I feel like the writers, actors, directors, and artists had more freedom and control over their medium. But now, because everything is decided with an algorithm of what works and what doesn't, we are slowly seeing things get shoehorned into a template. Netflix will definitely release another 300 awful documentaries about somebody murdering someone. But Chaos, one of the greatest series I've ever seen in my life, from casting to music to detail to plot to a wonderfully unique take on the mythology to acting to wardrobe and so much more, gets cancelled weeks after the first season is released. Yes, that was a big thing last year. On Prime, there are so many great series that have been cancelled, like The Wild, Night Sky, and The Patriot, to name a few. Even just the politics of who owns what meant we didn't get a third season of one of the greatest series Marvel has created, The Punisher, which John Bernthal was put on this world to act in. It really angers me when I see someone like Sissy Spacek and J.K. Simmons, two titans of Hollywood, get less of a chance with their series Night Sky than The Tick or Shazam. Finally, I do understand financially it has to make sense, but the American Office was... Finally, I do understand financially it has to make sense, but the American Office was going to be axed repeatedly, and yet the show was given a chance and time to breathe, and it's one of the greatest and biggest TV shows in history. They even rewrote the whole persona of Michael. Had it been axed after one season, nobody would have loved Michael Scott. Business is business, but without the viewers and fans, there is no business. We were sold streaming as a way to watch exactly what we want when we want it, but the tables have turned, and now we're being told to watch what they want us to watch more and more. I really like the way you've put that, actually. That's true. There are so many examples of this, but their algorithms and accountants aren't programming in the ever-evolving nature of writing and acting and directing. The whole business seems to be more and more void of adventurous undertakings and the whole romance of Hollywood. I love interviews with actors telling stories of how they were right on the edge, scenes were going terribly, but then someone had faith in the show, got picked up, or the movie got a second chance. I think my future children will be listening to stories about how a director got an email from Jeff Bezos with a spreadsheet showing poor viewership stats and how they couldn't find their laptop charger to email them back in the same hour. Tense stuff. Not the makings of a new series like The Offer, really. Sorry for waffling, but I would love to hear your opinions on this matter, and if you agree or disagree with this. Many thanks, Max. Thank you for that very long and articulate email.
I feel like one of the many factors that draws into this, many which you touched on, I also think the turnover of production to data to analysis to decision on cutting or continuing is so much faster now, because you can drop an entire series and within one weekend you can go, how many people watched it, how long did they stay on the episode, did they watch the next episode, blah, blah. Whereas back in the day, we would tell 24 episode seasons over 6 months and you weren't really evaluating it properly until it finished and then you would commission, and it just feels like we leave so much less time to let people really come to it. And that also is because there is so much more competition. I also don't think we're in an environment where many people can afford to let you tell your story in 24 episodes over 6 months of the year. Like, they need to know if it's good and not waste time on it. And it is so much more data driven, but I sometimes think that data can be, like, if we do drop a series and people don't immediately flock to it, that shouldn't necessarily be whether or not it's good or not, or effective as a TV show. Sometimes people just don't get to something immediately when they watch it. And I think it creates shows that are commissioned based on how much hype and conversation they can create, rather than whether or not they're actually good. Like, how much hype did episode 1 of Mad Men get when it dropped?
Do you know, Mad Men didn't get over 1 million viewers until season 3.
Widely regarded to be one of the greatest TV shows of all time. I'm not saying it didn't have success, it did, but I'm talking about like that. I think that style of storytelling, I don't think is what gets the Squid Game headline or the Bridgerton headline. I'm throwing stones at Netflix here, but I think all of them are guilty of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's like timing. It's like our world in tech, which is where it's coming from, moves so quickly. The data needs to be happening now. They've spent a lot of money.
Yeah.
They need to know if it's worthwhile.
Yeah, I think that what we forget with culture is that the way I sometimes think about it, or the way I think is helpful to think about it, is that think of culture like it's used in science about food cultures and bacterial cultures, right?
Okay.
And the way things cluster and grow. And culture, as in societal culture, behaves not dissimilarly to that. And you can't grow a culture, you can't grow excitement, you can't grow art in an environment in which things aren't allowed to grow organically and manifest and behave in their own way. And we used to have space for it, and now we don't, and that's really sad. You know, I think using the American Office example is really key, because just as a lesson of TV history, that show almost got axed so many times. But it cultured itself, and it got people to gather around it, like Breaking Bad as well. I mean, and that was very much Netflix helped spread that around the world. So I think you raise a really good point.
Is it
Max.
also a reflection of like entertainment post 2008 crash, the lack of economic resources, the lack of the risk taking, money is tighter, the economic environment is different, the budgets are not necessarily smaller, but they have to just be more dialed in, more risk averse.
I think Max's point about it feels like we're being told what to watch rather than we're being given stuff that we really want to see, and that's quite damaging.
But I don't want to get too down. There are some bloody good TV shows that come out every couple of years.
Yes, there are. But where's your scrappy, plucky, small show coming from? The top shows that we like are the top tier. Yeah. The Studio is an Apple TV show. You know, the Severances of the world, the White Lotuses.
My friend Alex texted me out of the blue, says, I need a recommendation. What show should I watch that I haven't seen? And I said, Ripley is one of the best shows Netflix has ever made.
Yes.
Go and watch it. And he was like, really? I was like, I really believe this. I said, please stick with the first episode. It is slow, and I think it's a bit of a culture shock in some senses because of the black and white and the very sort of slow tone. But I was like, I promise you, I think this is top draw. Yeah.
We're not
I hope he gets back to me on it.
We're not going to get any more of it though.
No,
like, it's just
no.
Like that was, but also that was Netflix would have never have commissioned that. So the key thing with that is that Ripley was a Showtime's show. It was commissioned by Showtime, and then it was sold to Netflix. But I think Netflix would never have actually put that into production originally. They kind of just got behind it.
Go and watch Ripley. Go and listen to our Ripley
it's
episodes.
So good.
Like, if you want to see, I think one of our most top reviews, things we've loved to such a high extent. Well, our most positive reviews ever. I think Ripley is one, and I couldn't stop gushing about it.
It's just phenomenal. It's a key part of the Pulp Kitchen history. To keep championing it. So if you haven't seen it,
might be one of the best things I've reviewed,
episodes, isn't it? I think it's only 6. I think it's something.
I thought it was something like 8.
Is it?
I think it's a bit more than 6, maybe.
Maybe it is an 8, but it's just splendid.
It gets better.
Yeah.
Sorry. No, Ripley. But yeah, that was my first thing because I knew he hadn't seen it. I was like, I want to say Ripley. I think it's the best show Netflix has ever made. / put out.
But my point still stands. Where are the smaller? Unless you're counting like comedies, but like. Where are the kind of like smaller shows? I mean, Adolescence, yes, it was a breakout hit, but it's a limited show, only 4 episodes, and was still massive budget on Netflix.
Yeah,
I don't know. Anyway, we'll move on. We're out of we're not industry insiders ultimately.
I think people are starting to get to grips with this style of or this world of TV we're in, but I still also think we can't quite yet see the forest for the trees on what's happening. I still think we need to come out of this era and look back and go, So stay tuned to Pulp Kitchen forever. George, as always, Pulp Kitchen ends
with a game.
With a thought exercise sometimes.
Sometimes we do like to. It's like when you order a dessert, but you actually get like a cheese platter.
It's kind of a game.
Or a fruit bowl.
I think to call it a full-on game is sort of wrong, but I'm gonna let you do some guessing.
This is not pudding.
This is not pudding. You can do some guessing, but it's sort of like an encourage. I'll tease them out of you, if that's what I mean. George, that's an email. George, films sometimes flop and flop really, really hard.
Yeah.
But my question is, George, what are the biggest flops ever in film history? And I'm judging these based on what their budget was and how much they lost from that, the ratio. And this is adjusted for inflation.
So
I'm going to ask you to, because the reason I do this is I looked at the top 15 films or 16 films, and there are some real, do you remember that film?
Okay.
And there are some real, that lost that much money moments. And I think it would be quite fun for you to try and guess a bunch of these if you so fancy it.
Okay, I love this idea.
Yeah.
Are there films in there that I haven't seen or haven't heard of?
Yes, there'll be a small, a handful you haven't seen. But you know, I'd say of maybe all of these films apart from a couple.
Okay, there's one, only because I remember reading a list 10, 15 years ago about the biggest flops ever. Is a 2003, 2001 version of The Alamo in there?
No, that's not in here.
Okay.
Is that on this? Oh, The Alamo is like way down. I'd say like in the 30s or 40s.
Okay.
But you're barking up the right tree.
John Carter.
John Carter is number one.
Wow, the
and
biggest flop of all
we've
time.
Laughed at a few times, just like the fact that it's just a first and last name. 2012 film with a net budget of 263.7 million.
That is
and
insane.
It's estimated to have lost up to 274 million. Lost.
Oh man,
nearly 300 million.
That's brutal.
That's a staggering
I
amount
felt
of money.
sorry for Taylor Kitsch because that was the year. That was meant to be his year. It was 2012, and he did that. Battleship and Savages, which were all like
real stinkers.
Yeah, terrible. Because he was coming off of Friday Night Lights. It was going to be his year. Yes. Anyway, okay, that's number one.
CG was in a certain place, not to be like to give that film a bone, but also like it was all set on Mars.
Well,
and a lot of animals and aliens.
I admired them for backing.
Never seen it, by the way.
Me neither, but I admired them for backing an original IP. This is very much a post-Avatar decision. Yes. And it was based off an existing text. The guy who wrote Tarzan had also written this story about John Carter of Mars, right? They took out of Mars in the title, which was a huge mistake because John Carter tells you nothing. It tells you absolutely nothing, but it sounds like an accountant. Yeah. But John Carter of Mars would at least have told you, oh, it's science fiction.
Yes, yeah.
And I remember every time I saw the trailer, I think most people just went, I don't know what this is.
It's like John Carter, Michael Clayton.
Yeah,
other films.
I'm not a huge fan of movies with people's names.
First, last name.
Yeah, it's very boring.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, so you got number one.
Okay,
can you guess some of the others?
Is there any from the past few? Any this year? Was any this year?
Nothing from this year.
2024.
You've got nothing from 2024, but 2023. You've got
The Flash.
No.
What? Aquaman 2.
No. Think. It was one of the biggest Marvel flop ever.
Oh, The Marvels.
Yes, that's number 3.
Wow.
So that lost an estimated 245 million.
Wow.
So it had a budget of 270, which I think for that what that film was. I've seen it, but don't remember it well.
Yeah.
The fact that had a $270 million budget, I think, is insane. Like you can make an Avengers film for that.
That is mad. By the way, were you prompted to give me this thought exercise based on the news about Ron Howard's new movie, Eden?
No.
So Ron Howard's got this new movie coming out now in America called Eden, which we covered on Double Take, but actually has not been given much push at all. Really? It's got Ana de Armas, Jude Law, Sydney Sweeney, Vanessa Kirby, Daniel Bruhl. It had a budget of 50 million and it opened to 1 million. And that ratio, they say, it's one of the biggest flops of all time.
Wow.
Anyway, carrying on.
There are some of these you just won't get.
Is Joker Folie à Deux in there?
No, Joker Folie à Deux is not there. So I'm gonna lead you towards. Remember, we did one about Pixar. What is the one that was the lowest? Do you remember? It's
The Good Dinosaur.
No, really forgotten. Came out in 2022.
So it's not. Oh, Elemental.
No.
Luca.
No.
Lightyear.
No.
Oh no.
Turning Red.
Oh, I liked Turning Red. I saw Turning Red.
So that lost an estimated 186 million.
No.
Yeah, that's the lowest. You named all the other flops, but Turning Red, a budget of 175 million. Again, with animation, I sometimes I know it's expensive, but I can't always see where the money goes in a way. But that was like maybe 12th in the list.
It's not a bad movie.
Yeah,
it's not a bad movie.
Yeah, I've not seen it. So there are some famous ones in here that you're missing.
All right, so give me some hints and stuff.
Okay, so I'm going to give one that you've not seen, neither have I. It's a film that came out in 2018, directed by Peter Jackson.
Oh, is it The Mortal Engines?
Mortal Engines,
wow.
Yeah, that's 5 in the list. Budget of 110 million, but it's estimated to have lost 219 million.
Is Alita Battle Angel in there?
Alita Battle Angel is not here. but I think that's somewhere in the list.
Is
yeah.
Valerian and the City of a Thousand Planets in there?
No, but these are the right type of film that you're talking about.
A Jupiter Ascending.
Not on this list, but really close. That's next to The Flash and Terminator Dark Fate, but further down the list.
Terminator Genesis?
And sorry, near Ben-Hur 2016. Terminator Genesis, no, not in the top 15, but you're really sort of along the right
Break
lines.
remake. The Point Break remake.
Okay, really good. Okay, so I'm going to give you number 2 because I don't think you'll guess it. And I have a theory this is such a loss because of how much. I'll give you a clue.
Yeah,
I think this film is a huge loss because of how much they would have paid the main star.
Okay.
Two main stars, one of which would have definitely been paid a lot of money. Both actors have been ever so slightly disgraced by the public. I'd say they're both cancelled actors.
Johnny Depp?
Yes. What film is Johnny Depp?
Transcendence?
No.
What film?
Also starring another actor who's kind of been cancelled.
The Rum Diary? No.
You're doing all of Johnny Depp's other films.
What? Oh, The Lone Ranger.
Yes, that's number 2.
With
so
Armie
2013 film. Yeah, so estimated budget of 250 million, expected to have lost up to 256.
Wow.
So really, really poor there. I'm going to, just in the interest of time, I'm going to read off some of these, which I don't think you'll get. So at the bottom of the list is Jungle Cruise, which came out in 2021.
Yes.
That's
was that flop?
That huge flop, lost nearly $180 million.
Doolittle.
Oh, okay. So when you don't adjust for inflation, that one is at the top. But because we have, that's not here. So another one that you won't get from the year 2000 is Titan AE. Do you remember that animated film? That apparently lost a bunch of money. Okay, this film, 2017, directed by a director who we are like, they just kind of do a lot of different things. You know, you can trust this director with a film, and they're probably gonna just.
Is it Mother?
No.
Is it Danny Boyle?
No. I think other British directors were like, you know what? There's a reason this director just pops up a lot because they're probably quite easy to work with and they work within
Dexter
budget.
Fletcher?
No.
They work. Guy Ritchie.
Yes.
2017. So it's not The Man from U.N.C.L.E.
No.
2017. That's not Aladdin.
No.
King Arthur.
Legend of the Sword.
Yes.
So that has lost nearly 200 million. I thought, I didn't think of it being a successor, but I didn't think of it as a huge flop. It is one of the biggest flops adjusted. Okay, this one you should be able to get. 2015 film with a really big star in it, who I'm sure took a lot of the money. Super undefinable, just came and went. Looked like it was going to maybe be something big, but just nobody talks about it. No one knows about it.
Sci-fi?
Yes.
2015.
With it, so the main star is a young female actor who's not a name, but the main supporting actor is a huge, huge star.
It's not After. No, it wasn't After Earth.
No, but you're sort of on the right themes. I'll say Disney to you.
Disney, science fiction.
Yeah.
Hugh
Laurie's also in it.
Tomorrowland.
Huge flop, which I think you'd know. Nearly 200 million. Next up is a remake, one syllable, one word title of a beloved IP that came out in 2015, which I remember seeing trailers for and being like, yeah, I guess they did remake that film.
So it's not Ben-Hur, and it's not
also
Point
Disney.
Break. They remade. Is it a live action remake of an animated
but they've remade this in live action before.
Cinderella?
No,
because that was a hit.
Yeah. One syllable, one word. The last name of the character. Hugh Jackman is in it. Pan.
My God.
Pan.
I haven't seen it, but I've heard it's terrible.
Yeah, that came out in 2015, $150 million budget, which again, I think is just so much money for what that is. And it lost nearly up to 200 million. A film from 2011 called Mars Needs Mums.
Yes, the Robert Zemeckis movie, yeah.
Yeah, that lost about 200 million. Okay, so this film came out in 2012. A top pop star singer is a supporting character. An actor who is okay, so this is based off a board game.
Battleship.
Yes, Battleship.
With Taylor Kitchen.
Yeah.
So he was in two massive flops. Yeah.
Two massive flops, lost over 200 million by the estimate.
Because it's got Rihanna in it.
2022, a film called Strange World, animated science fiction film. Again, Disney. For some reason, it cost 180 million, and I've not heard of it. Lost up to 200 million. Now, this one really surprised me. Okay, it is an animated film from 2003, which I think is a DreamWorks project.
Treasure Planet.
No, but you're close. Based on like a very old, like a fun adaptation of an old legend.
No, not Hercules. No, an old legend.
Oh.
Beowulf.
No, not that old. That's like one of the oldest stories ever. But I like he went straight to top. Brad Pitt, animated. Catherine Zeta-Jones,
animated.
It's quite a good cast. This would be a great cast. This countdown. You got Brad Pitt, Catherine Zeta-Jones, Michelle Pfeiffer, Joseph Fiennes.
From 2003.
2003. So it's kind of a while ago
Is
now.
it space? Is it set in space again?
No.
It's an animated. Has it got people in it?
Yeah. It's got people in it.
Is it not about animals or anything?
No.
I don't know.
Sinbad, Legend of the Seven Seas. For some
yeah,
reason,
the horse one.
That's number 7. No, it's the Seas. No, you're thinking of.
Seabiscuit.
I don't know what you're thinking
You
of.
know
but
the one I'm thinking of, the animated horse.
No, Sinbad and the Seven Seas.
Right.
He sails the Seven Seas. I saw it in
No wonder
cinema.
these movies flopped.
Lost 214 million. Then there's Cutthroat Island,
Yes,
which
that's
is a film from 1995.
Yes, that killed Gina Davis's career for a
Yeah,
bit.
that lost over 200. Mortal Engines we did. The 13th Warrior.
That's... sorry, tell me what The 13th Warrior is.
So that's a film from 1999 based on a Michael Crichton novel starring Antonio Banderas. I've not heard of it.
What about 47 Ronin with Keanu Reeves?
That's on this list, but just further down. It's kind of a randomness as to like how far they go. Then you've got the Marvels, then Lone Ranger, then John Carter. So we've kind of filled it in. This game's getting on, so I don't want to go for too long. But it is always interesting to be like, Sinbad lost. It's the 7th highest.
I guess it's because they maybe made it for too much money, perhaps. But I guess also, if you're a studio head looking at that list, you're like, some of those movies are fine.
How do you know?
How do you know?
I do think there's sort of just luck of the draw. You really don't know what's going to work.
It's an art, not a craft. That's the thing. It's not a science.
Just outside of this list, just worth mentioning, 2020 Mulan. Flushed Away from 2006. Dark Phoenix, do you remember that?
Yeah. That flopped, was it?
Yeah, big time. Wonder Woman 1984 didn't do well.
That's because of COVID, I think, though.
Probably as well. Jupiter Ascending there. Ben-Hur 2016.
Surely Valerian and the City of the First
Do you remember
Blood.
Stealth from 2005 with what's his face?
Jason Statham?
With Josh Lucas, Jessica Biel, and Jamie Foxx.
No. Oh, what about Aeon Flux? Is that in there?
Aeon Flux.
Do you remember Aeon Flux?
No, I don't.
You know Charlize Theron? She's like that. She's got the black emo fringe.
No, I don't
Aeon Flux.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah?
No wonder it didn't work.
Yeah.
Like nobody can read. Do you want to go and see Aeon Flux?
Do you want to see Johan Griffith? No, it's not Johan Griffith. It's Johan Flux.
That's just always fun to remind ourselves of some of the top hitters, or the lack of hitters, the top flops. We hope you enjoyed this episode of Pulp Kitchen. Thank you so much to everyone listening. Don't forget, we post new episodes of this podcast every single Wednesday.
Thank you for your support, guys. We really do appreciate it, whether you're listening, watching, or buying tickets to come to our live show in October. We really do appreciate it. Check out the feed for more content as we post every week, because we do our numbered episodes every Wednesday, but we're also posting other stuff on the feed, like our reviews of Thursday Murder Club and Eddington, and there was a few emails in that episode as well. Hopefully going to drop a review of The Paper at some point. Lots of stuff happening, guys. Basically, if you like film and TV and entertainment and culture, Pulp Kitchen is the place to be.
Welcome home.
Welcome home. And thank you as ever to our producers, Finn and Dave. Have a great week, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.